So this is the Wingspan stent system. I don't have the packaging because I've already deployed the stent, but this is what the stent looks like. It's an open cell stent, and it's made of nitinol, self-expanding, and it's going to have more radial force than that of an Atlas. So that's why this is indicated for iCAD, because you need that radial force to kind of open up the vessel that's filled with plaque. You would not use this for a stent assist coiling. And that, as I mentioned, it's going to have more radial force than that of an Atlas. You can see it under fluoro based on these fluoro markers on the end, but the stent itself is not radiopeg because it's nitinol. So we've already deployed it, but basically the prep is super simple. There's two bodies to this. There's an outer body, which is this kind of white catheter, and then there's this inner body, which is this wire right here, which is what has the stent attached to it. So when it's in the hoop, in the packaging, you want to flush the outer hoop so that the outer body is lubricated, and then you want to, with saline, and then you want to flush the inner body right here with saline, and then you also want to flush this port with saline, and this can be attached to a saline drip if you like, but it sounds like you guys don't do that, so but that's what this is meant for. And then the final step, honestly, is when this comes in the packaging, this is going to be pretty loose, and so when you're flushing this, it's probably best to tighten it so that this doesn't move back and forth. But once you flush the inner body, loosen it again, and then you're going to slightly push this inner body so that there's about 1 to 2 millimeters of this just kind of exposed sort of inner body, and I'll show that shortly. So if you zoom in, Katie, zoom into right there. So I'm going to slowly push this, unlock this, I'm going to push this out. So you see there how it's moved. So right there, so you kind of want about, you see this bump right there, how it's pretty thick, that bulb, and then this proximal to it, you want about 1 to 2 millimeters of that pushed out. And the reason for that is because it basically, the stent would be in here, and it basically just kind of shifts the stent away from its locking place, because otherwise trying to do this in the patient, if you like push too hard, you could then release the stent. So this kind of just gets the stent prepped and ready, and then once you've done that, you can pull this back and lock it in place. So now that part is then back into the catheter, and then bring the system up. And so if you do that, it's easier for the physician to deploy the Wingspan up in the patient's brain. And that's really it.